you got a 2008, 2009 Cadillac CTS or any of the 3.6 liter CTS, you might want to subscribe so that you see that video when it gets released, because you could eventually be having this issue. And welcome back. We're just going to jump straight to it. If you click this video, it's for the O2 sensors for Cadillac CTS. This one's a 2008. So we'll go ahead and jump into it. I have all four of them. They're all relatively easy, but they have their own little techniques. So the underneath, which would be your downstream, will be basically mirrored. Your upstreams, which is more towards the motor in the engine bay, these ones can be tricky. One of them is actually pretty simple. The other one, it could be difficult to get to. So I'm going to walk you through that whole process. First off, you want to pop the hood. We're going to go ahead and do the upstreams first. All right, once you got your hood open, we're going to go ahead and start with the more difficult one, which is going to be the driver's side. Believe me, the passenger side, way easier to get to. So let's get this one out of the way first. What you're going to want to do is locate your O2 sensor. So let me see if I can get a good angle here. I'm trying to shine my light, bear with me. I'll let you know when I get it. All right, right where I'm shining my light, I'll go ahead and circle it right here. Right there is where our O2 sensor is. So obviously we're going to have to take out or move and get access to it. So we're going to have to move all this wire harness. It's honestly not that bad. I'll see if I can get some better light in here. It's not that bad. It's just some bracket. You'll go ahead and get your trim removal tool and pop off those. Go ahead and unplug your cables here. Actually, this one right here with the blue, that's actually your O2 sensor, so you're going to have to unplug that anyway. And then I'll walk you through the next step. Alright, I adjusted some settings to make this brighter so you guys can see better in here. For starters, you're going to see this vacuum line that's going to go to your brake booster. Okay, this is where I am right here. Go ahead and pull that off. Okay, you'll see it comes right over to here. Not a huge deal. I wouldn't worry about pulling it off there, but kind of fish this line out, get it out of your way, because you're going to want access right here. Okay, that's going to be important we put that back, but obviously I'm going to walk you through that. Now we're going to go ahead and unplug this, and there should be a third one. Yeah, right there. We're going to unplug that as well. Okay, then we'll take these wires and move them over here. All right, for yours, mine's broken, but there should be a gray thing that goes through it. You're going to see it. It's on this tether. Pull that out so that you can lift up on this tab. Once you lift up on this tab, then you can pull it out. So now that that's done, slide off to the side. Then now we work on this plug. Alright, I just went ahead and did all that off camera. Where I have this camera at, I needed to fit my arm through that hole. So showing you wasn't that easy with one hand. Right here is going to be a tab you push down and then you pull it apart. Same thing with the one underneath it or the next one. You'll push down right here and then they'll spread apart. Next, just move these out of the way so we have ourselves some wrenching room. Then these wires as well. For the sake of, because they're all tethered together, I'm gonna unplug this plug right here. Okay, right here's the tab we'll push down on. Just like that. So now that we have the whole, all three out of the way, or unplugged, all right, again, I'm trying to make do with what I got. Once you get all the wires moved out of the way, like I said, this is going to be the more difficult part just because of how tight everything is, but it's still relatively easy. Just getting to it is going to be challenging. So all the wires I put right back here, okay, and then those I pushed up right there. So now I got all this room. Next, we're going to take out that bolt. I'll circle it right now. That bolt is going to be a 15 millimeter. That's going to release this bracket right here. It's just a cheap bracket, something to help keep the wire harnesses away from the exhaust all the way. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. Alright, for me, I just used the regular short socket, 15 millimeter, and then this is what it looks like coming out. Alright, for this next part, once you take that bracket off, you got as much clearance as you're going to probably get or need for this O2 sensor. So, you're going to want to get yourself one of these sockets, okay? Amazon, I'll post it in the description below. Maybe you already have it. In the next case on this side, a wrench is actually going to be your best friend on it, and I'll explain that when I get there. But for this one, this socket is kind of what you're going to want just because of the angle. You'll see what I mean when you do it. So to give you a little rough rundown how to use these, this is going to be your O2 sensor. It's going to be right there. Now you got this long tail, and this part's flexible, but you got this whole long part. It's made to go over all of that. That way it flexes, okay? So that's how you're going to want to set on there, but this tail will be able to flex through there. That way you can get all the way around that and then pop it loose. For these O2 sensors, they could be seized in there. I do recommend that you go ahead and soak them down with PB Blaster and let them sit for at least 5 minutes. If you notice on these, they got anti-seize on there, okay? It doesn't mean that it's going to come out easy next time, but relatively easy, hopefully. But just know, once you break it loose, it's really easy from there. It's just that initial pop loose. From the heat and the cooling down part, stuff like that, it ends up like really gripping on there and seizing it. Sometimes I've broken bungs off these before, which is the threaded part that's on the exhaust. You want to avoid that. Don't give it all your might right away. You're going to want to just kind of understand and feel what you're doing, but once it pops loose, good to go. So this is going to be the socket. You'll see it, get on there, get around it, and then break it loose. Alright, I went ahead and did it off camera. It's a pain in the ass to get to that and be able to get a camera angle to show you guys. Over here it should be easier, underneath it should be easier. Anyhow, this is the old one. Again, as soon as it just popped loose, it was it. Just using my fingers the rest of the time. As you can tell, really black. I guess you rather have it black than white. Black means you're rich, white means that you're lean, but I think I have other issues, so we're going to address those in the future. So if you got a 2008, 2009 Cadillac CTS or any of the 3.6 liter CTS, you might want to subscribe so that you see that video when it gets released, because you could eventually be having this issue. So we'll go ahead and install the new one. Again, pull that off. It's got the anti-seize on it. Usually they do. Probably 99.9% these are going to come with it on there. If it doesn't, just get you a bottle of anti-seize and put a little bit on there. So then nothing special about it. Just go ahead and screw it all back in and then tighten it down pretty good. You have a crush washer on here. So when you tighten it all the way finger tight, get your socket and your ratchet and tighten it. You're going to feel that crush washer kind of smash. You're going to want to make sure this is pretty tight. Alright, I went ahead and installed it. It's in there. Believe me, I'm not going to put the old one back in. So now we just put that bracket back on. Remember, the bracket was like this, or like this. Okay, so all this was exposed. That's for your wire harnesses to clip to. Okay, so looking at the side of the motor, that's how it goes on. All right, and once you have that 15 millimeter bolted in, again, you don't have to go overkill, but obviously make sure it's tight and it's not going to move on you. Now, remember all these holes, there's no specific hole to use, but these holes, these serve a purpose of holding the wire plugs and stuff like that in place, and so they're not flopping around and getting near the hot exhaust and stuff. I'm trying to find an example. It might be on this side. Yes. So these right here are what's going to pop in those holes, okay? Each one should have one. You see a couple down there. These ones are chewed up, but they'll work. I'm going to want to push them through there. Now remember, we unplugged 4 plugs, okay? We have this black one that was right here, the 2 gray ones, and then the oxygen sensor. So make sure you plug all those back up. You're going to want to avoid having these wires touching anything hot, but they only give you just enough wire to get it where it needs to go, so you should be fine. I'll be back. All right. Wish I can show you guys a lot more hands-on on this, but at the same time, it's pretty straightforward, okay? So I got the O2 sensor in, obviously, put the bracket on, and then now I got all these hooked up, okay? Right underneath this one is that other gray one. Got this one, and then the O2 sensor, and then this top black one right here. I'm trying to get in the camera angle. Right here. That one I plug back in. Just make sure that all these that you plug in, you hear the click, that they're locked in and stuff. If you don't hear a click, then sometimes the little pins in there, they won't make contact with each other, and then you're going to have another issue. So just push these together until they click. And then remember, push them right on into those little holes. Push those little pegs that are mounted to these in those little holes so that it keeps it secure. All right, and then that's it for the driver's side one. Next, the passenger side, and I promise you, a whole lot easier. All right, now as far as this passenger side goes, you might vary right here, but I'm pretty sure you guys are all gonna have the same open space. Right here. All right, so as you follow it down, I'll circle it right now. That's where your O2 sensor is. And then you see the plug right here. That's obviously where you unplug it. Pretty simple. All right, so the next part, like I said, that's where the wrench comes in handy. You can try and use that ratchet in that socket, but I found this being way easier. Just because of the back clearance right here and getting your handle and how long that socket is, a lot easier to use a wrench. So you're gonna have to use the open end, so be mindful of that. You don't wanna go crazy and start rounding off that hex head, but just take your time, reach back there and loosen it up. Again, right when you pop it loose, it's gonna work its way out. Just like that. See that? I don't know if you caught that or not. Just a good pull up. Might be able to get to it, or get it with my hand now. Another thing to keep in mind, this pigtail that's on it, that has to spin with it. So remember that when you start unscrewing it and that pigtail's winding up with it and corkscrewing and getting caught on things, that's part of being patient with it too, because that's definitely going to have to spin with it. Yeah, I barely had to do anything. I'm almost wondering if I didn't tighten them hard enough the first time. All right, see how it's all twisted up? Just keep that in mind when you're putting the new one on. Not nearly as black. So I am running an engine code saying that my bank 1 is running rich. Now I'm not sure if it's reading it after the catalytic converter or before, but I wanted to change all 4 O2 sensors, and then I'm going to change my fuel injectors, as well as, well, some other things, but that's more interior. All right, so same process. Take off the cap, put this one back on. You're going to want to tighten it, and then until you feel that crush washer. Put some pretty good torque on it, but don't go overkill. You'll know when it's not going to turn anymore. And then plug it in. This one, I'm not sure if there's a place to mount it. I'll look again. Just look for one of those little holes in a mounting spot. you don't see one, this is relatively out of the way of the exhaust, so this should be fine. And go, nice new part. Don't you love new parts? Reach down there. Feel around, find the hole. Once you do, put it in there and go ahead and thread it in. Now this time when you're tightening it up, keep that wire in mind. You know, you don't want to get too crazy with it and have it bunch up and rip a wire or kink a wire and stuff like that. Just kind of twist it and help guide it all around. Again, I wish there was a better angle for you guys, but pretty simple what I'm doing. I'm just tightening it up. Okay, I only did that to untangle it for a minute. Almost done. There we go. It's finger tight. Now I reach my wrench in there. I tell you what, look, I live on a road, okay? Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Every day you might have maybe 4 or 5 cars come down here. Maybe every hour, probably 4 or 5 cars. Ever since I started this darn video, it seems like the whole city is just driving by to see what I'm doing or something. Alright, off camera, I'm trying to get a good angle of it, but I'm going to tighten it with this wrench. I'll get back with you. Alright guys, there we have it. Tightened down as much as I can. Plugged it up. It's out of the way of anything hot. Also, side note, number one, if you made it this far, I highly appreciate it. Got a question. For those of you that have this car, do you have like these? So this doesn't go to anything. I bought the car like this. I don't know what it's for, if it's for a different trim package that I don't have. Maybe you guys, I don't have navigation. I don't think that this would have anything to do with it, but maybe it would. I have no clue. I don't have navigation, so let me know if you have this loose plug and that one. That's obviously mounted, but there's a cap on it, so nothing's plugged into there. I think everything else is plugged up. Yeah, everything else has something going to it. So just out of curiosity, chime down in the comments below if you do, or if you come across it. I'm curious to know what this even is. All right, anyway, now we're down to those were the upstream. So a nice way to think about it, upstream is up top, downstream is down bottom. So down bottom is usually after your cats, upstream is before your cats. That way it can analyze and read how the exhaust air is, and then by the time it goes through its cleaning source, then it tells, or is able to read and be able to detect the, you know, the efficiency and the clean exhaust, you know what I mean? So the moment that they're off and other things, like I said, my fuel injectors, I think I got a leaking fuel injector, but that being the case, or an O2 sensor failing, that's what's causing bad emissions, and then throws an O2 code. So anyway, upstream's done. Now for the downstreams. Okay, it is a whole nother day. I just came across some other things. I couldn't pick this project up, but now I'm back at it. Now we're going to do the lower ones, the downstreams. As you can tell, just went ahead and pulled them up on the ramp, give myself a little more clearance. I didn't want to do a jack and stands or anything, so we'll go ahead and start with this side. These ones are a lot easier to get to anyway. I did the O2s before. I think I used some universal ones, so I had to cut the pigtail. I hope I didn't. If I did, I'll walk you through that, but it still should be a plug-and-play system. If this is your first time replacing them and stuff, definitely unclip them and they clip back in, no issue. If I have to go across doing some custom stuff, you'll see it, but the same rule applies. So let's go ahead and get under there and see what we're working with. All right, don't mind the rust. It is an 08, but here we are on the driver's side. Okay, right up top, right by your flange, that is your O2 sensor right there. That's your downstream. And if you look up there, I'll circle it right now. That's going to be your plug. So just kind of trace it around and see where it is. Again, when you unplug it first, I'm going to have to wait for this to cool down a little bit, but unplug it at first. And then as you unturn it, like I said, it's a lot more easy to get to. Same with the other side. It's right up top right here. It will be more prone to rust being lower and on the ground. I live in Indiana, so you know, the rust and stuff like that and the salt, it all goes hands to hand right here. So go ahead and pop that loose, unplug it first, pop it loose, and unthread it. All right, as far as ease of access goes, some long pliers like this is going to help you out. Harbor Freight, I believe, is where I got these, or Lowe's or Harbor Freight, one of the two. Anyway, you're going to want some long needle-nose pliers. It's going to help. You could probably get it with your hands, but this is going to help, and I'll show you why. I'm doing the best I can with what I got as far as room, but this is what I'm talking about. This is kind of a pain in the butt to get to. So I'm going to, first step, you see, I'm going to pause it right here, and I'm going to do a voiceover. This part right here is just like the top. It's more like a locking pin, so you're going to want to pull that out this way. And once that's done, then the portion right here, that portion right there, that's the tab. You're going to want to kind of lift up on that so it relieves it. Then you're going to pull it back down and unscrew it. There, well, it kind of took me a little bit, but I got it. I didn't use the pliers for that portion. When I go to pop, the pliers would have popped that gray pin out. And then I just stuck a flathead screwdriver in between them and just turned it so it lifted it up off there. And pull on the wire a little bit and it popped out. So now we just unthread it. Okay, so in my case, my O2 sensors down here are very hard to get off. I did spray it with some PB Blaster, and I'm pretty sure that helped quite a bit, but we're already replacing these O2 sensors. Keep that in mind. So what I did, this, for one, that socket, there's no fit in that socket there. Maybe on this one, but definitely not on this one. So I had to use a wrench. That being said, if your wrenches are better, then they're better and you wouldn't have a problem. But this open end kept slipping around this because, like I said, this is on there very, very tight. I was using my cheater bar and everything, and it just skipped around it. It didn't round out the head on that. This was flexing a little bit. So I pulled these pins out. Once you pull, there's like a blue tab. It's under that cap. But once you pull the blue tab out, the rest of the pins, they just pulled out. So I did all that so that I could fit the open end through the wire and then put it on here. So I got a bite completely all the way around it. And then you take another big wrench and then you put it, see how it curves up a little bit? Again, your application might vary, but then I'll put it on right here, put it inside this one. See how that is? See if I can get a good view. And then that's my extension. And then I was able to pop it loose. Once it's loose, just like the top ones, once it's loose, you can just do it by hand. So this O2 sensor, very simple. Right there's the plug. If I can't get it off, see it? That's on there. If I can't get it off, you know, the normal way or whatever, then I'm just going to do the same. I'm going to extract the pins out of that just so I can clear it with the closed end of the wrench. Use a cheater bar and pop that loose. All right, and there you have it. That's all 4 of the oxygen sensors for the Cadillac 08 to 09 CTS. You could be all the years as well. It's relatively the same even throughout all the other cars. So you get your upstreams and your downstreams. Depending on the motor, you can have 4, you can have 2. So any questions, comments, concerns, any tips, anything that I left out, go ahead and please put it down in the comments below. Really appreciate the support. Till next time. Thank you.